Have you ever just stared at a database question in an exam, wondering where on earth to even start? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to crack a real GCSE computer science question and show you step by step how to lock in every single one of those marks.
Okay, let's just dive right in. This is question 9D, pulled straight from a past OCR paper. It's a classic SQL task. And you know, figuring out how to solve this is the key to grabbing 4 really crucial marks.
So before you write a single word of code, the absolute most important step is to break down the question. What is it really asking for? We need to pull out 2 specific things, the student ID and the team name. But, and this is the important part, there's a catch. It's only for students in year group 11. That's our filter.
So, what are we actually working with here? The great thing is, the exam always gives you the database table structure. You should think of this as your treasure map. Everything you need to find the answer is laid out right in front of you.
And here it is, our table, called TBL result. You can see it's got 4 fields, right? Student ID, year group, team name, and time. Our mission then is to pick out the right columns from this table and then zoom in on just the specific rows we actually need.
Let's look back at that question again. It says, show the student ID and team name. That right there is our first massive clue. In the world of SQL, whenever you want to show columns, you use the select command. So you already know our query has to start with select student ID, team name. See? It's that straightforward.
Okay, now for part 2 of the puzzle. Who are in year group 11? This is our filter. We don't want every single student, we have to narrow it down. The SQL command for doing exactly that is the where clause. It lets us set a condition, and in our case, that condition is simply year group equals 11.
Right. We've broken down the problem, we've identified all the key parts. Now it's time to put it all together and actually build our SQL statement, filling in those blanks just like you would on the real exam paper.
We're starting with select. Now, the paper has already given us select student ID, so our first job is to add that other column the question asked for, team name. And please, don't forget that crucial little comma between the column names.
Okay, so now that we've told the database what columns we want, we have to tell it where to go to find them. That's what the from keyword is for. We just add from, and then the name of our table, which, as we know, is TBL result. Easy. And here's the final piece of our puzzle, the filter. We use the where keyword to set our condition. We only want rows where year group equals 11. And just like that, boom, we have our complete, totally correct SQL statement. You have to remember this select from where structure. It is the absolute foundation of pretty much every database query you'll ever write.
You know, having the right answer is one thing, but understanding how you get the marks for it, well, that's the real secret to exam success. So, how does an examiner actually score this? Let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the official mark scheme.
Okay, here's the key insight you get from the mark scheme. It is not all or nothing. You get a mark for each correct piece. You get 1 mark for adding team name, another for correctly identifying the table result table, a third for just using the where keyword, and that final mark for getting the condition right, year group equals 11. This is great news. It shows that even if you make one little mistake, you can still pick up most of the marks.
And this brings us to an absolutely crucial exam tip. Precision is everything. The mark scheme is super explicit about this. You will lose a mark if you use an asterisk to select all the columns, or if you add extra fields the question didn't ask for. Your job is to give the examiner exactly what they requested. Nothing more, nothing less. This is just like how databases work in the real world. You only ever want to pull the specific data you need. So, what have we actually learned from digging into this one question? Let's boil it all down into some key takeaways that you can use for pretty much any SQL problem you'll face in your exam.
All right, here they are, your golden rules for SQL success. First, spelling is critical. A single S where it shouldn't be, like writing TBL results, can make the whole thing wrong. Second, be precise. Only select the columns you're asked for. Third, always use the exact field and table names that are given in the question. And finally, just give your where clause a quick double check to make sure it's filtering the data exactly the way you want it to.
And really, that's the whole process. It's all about breaking down the problem, spotting those key words, building your query piece by piece, and always thinking like an examiner. If you follow these steps, you can walk into any SQL challenge feeling confident. Remember, it's not about memorizing lines of code. It's all about understanding the logic